or blogs. The House comes to question for oral answer. Question number 1 in the name of Metiria Turei.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker, tēnā koutou katoa. My question is to the Minister of Education and asks, in relation to the proposed school closures in Christchurch, does she agree with Manning Intermediate Head Richard Chambers that, quote, the Minister promised us that we would have 2 years no matter what. It was a guarantee she made to our community repeatedly. It was unequivocal, end quote.
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, no. I repeatedly made it clear that it was a proposal that we were inviting feedback on. Mr. Speaker, I would also refer Mr. Chambers to the letter he received from me yesterday, which gave 2 options for the Manning community to comment on, one closing in 2014 and one closing in 2015.
Supplementary question, Metiria Turei.
Is the Minister saying that this principal and his colleagues are lying?
Mr. Speaker, no.
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Supplementary.
Metiria Turei.
How does the Minister expect to regain the confidence of the 60% of New Zealanders who believe she is too incompetent to be Minister of Education when she is reneging on promises?
Order, order.
When she reneges on promises that she made to Christchurch families?
Hikia Parata, Honourable Hikia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, I've already answered in my primary question that I did not make that promise.
Supplementary question, Metiria Turei.
During the consultation process, did any of the schools currently threatened with closure ask to be shut a year early to give their communities certainty?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, in a number of the submissions, schools asked for certainty as soon as possible. In a number of the submissions, schools pointed out that they did not want a very long time frame because parents would choose to enrol their kids at other schools and teachers would seek jobs in other schools.
Metiria Turei, supplementary question.
Which schools asked her to close them a year earlier than originally planned because of certainty?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, as I made clear, no school asked to be closed a specific time earlier, but we have, for instance, from the submission from North New Brighton, there is already evidence of staff bleeding from our wider sector. If the merge process continues for 4 years and high-quality staff continue to bleed, there is a huge risk of a significant negative impact. Mr. Speaker, of course, Mr. Speaker, another speaker who I can quote from yesterday said, truly these people needed to have a decision because at the end of the day, it may not be the decision that people wanted, but it's a decision nonetheless, and it's something that we can work from, and that was from the Honourable Leanne Dalzell.
Supplementary question, Metiria Turei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the Minister think that the children and the parents and the principal of Phillipstown School, who were in tears yesterday because they were happy to have been given certainty that she will close their school a year earlier than she promised them?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, I understand that this can be very upsetting for communities and that a number of communities are unsettled by the interim decisions I announced yesterday, and we will be supporting them throughout this process. But, Mr. Speaker, we have to remember what it is that we are dealing with across Greater Christchurch, and we are working with each and every school on how we can help to get the best possible education system for the kids of Christchurch.
Supplementary question, Metiria Turei.
Did the Minister receive any advice or instruction from senior ministers in the Cabinet to hurry and get the closures out of the way before the 2014 election?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
No.
Supplementary question, Metiria Turei.
Why will the Minister refuse to say sorry to the people of Christchurch, the families of Christchurch, for the bungled announcements she made in September, the reneging of promises to keep schools open until 2015, and the fact that 19 schools will close? Why will she not say sorry?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, I went to visit 35 of the schools directly and personally to acknowledge the September issues, and since then have worked very closely with each and every one of them.
Supplementary question, the Honourable Leanne Dalzell.
Will she give an assurance that merging schools that want to delay the merger for another year will be allowed to do so?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, we have a further 6 weeks of consultation, during which time I will listen and continue to listen and work with schools.
Supplementary question, Honourable Leanne Dalzell.
Does she accept that the time frame does not leave sufficient time for discussions and planning to take place? And if not, why did she write to Central New Brighton School saying that's why the proposed merger would not take place until 2016?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
No, Mr. Speaker, because this process of consultation has been going for the past 5 months. So I do think that the time frame available for schools to make their submissions has been a very appropriate one in the circumstances.
Point of order, Leanne Dalzell.
The question that I asked her was whether the time frame for the merger...
No, there were 2 parts to your question. The first part was whether the time frame was sufficient. The Minister addressed that, to my mind, quite satisfactorily. Do you have a further supplementary?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Further supplementary, Honourable Leanne Dalzell.
Will surrounding schools be ready for the sudden influx of students next year resulting from her decision to bring forward the closure and merger dates? And if so, why is the government shelling out $2.7 million for temporary relocatable classrooms in Christchurch?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, these are interim decisions that I announced yesterday, and under the law, under the Education Act, I am required not to predetermine the outcome of that consultation.
Supplementary question, the Honourable
Speaker, to the Minister, has the Minister seen reports that the current national-led government has closed only 49 schools, on average 12 a year, when the previous Labor government closed 281 schools for an average of 31 a year? And if there was a change of government where the Greens are involved, do you think it's possible they'd ever close any school?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister is quite correct.
Point of order, Honourable Leanne Dalzell.
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to table an extract from a letter from the Office of Honourable Hikia Parata dated the 7th of December 2012 to a member of the Parklands community. It states...
Is it a letter that's freely available to members through any other source?
No.
Well, the easiest way is to resolve it, is to put leave to the House. Is there any objection to that letter being tabled?
Well, hang on, I haven't explained what the letter...
You've explained quite sufficiently what it is. You have explained quite sufficiently what it is. It is not an opportunity for the member to make a statement. Point of order.
I don't think the member's even said who the letter is from. How can you... How can you say everyone...
Order. The letter was, from I understood it, a letter from the Honourable Hikia Parata, and that was stated in the very early part of the Sorry? It was then about the closure of schools in Christchurch. Order. I'll invite the member to briefly describe the content of what she wants to seek to explain, and if we determine it's not something that's freely available to members, I will put leave to the House.
The letter states that as this proposed merger is not planned to take place until 2016...
Order. It would help if we could find out what the letter's about so we can tidy this matter up. If the member wants the opportunity to table the letter, it would be helpful if the member was able to describe the letter.
And Speaker, that might be helped if you enforce the rules of the House which require silence during points of order.
That is a perfectly acceptable point of order raised by the Honourable Trevor Mallard. Would the member succinctly describe what she's attempting to table?
The letter states that as the proposed merger is not planned to take place until 2016, if it were to go ahead, there would be time for discussions to be had, for planning to take place, and for the merged school to gain the support of the wider Brighton community.
We now clearly know what the letter is. There's a further point of order. It would be helpful if we could tidy the matter up.
Well,
Honourable Bill English.
If you leave, I think that'll probably work best, Mr. Speaker. But the member abused the tolerance of the House. The House is always happy to have people table letters. Having been asked several times to state who it was from and who to, she didn't do that and insisted on reading it out. The member therefore runs the risks that the House will object to leave when it's abused in that way.
And then I suggest to the House that's the easiest way of tidying this matter up, as leave has been sought. Any member can object. Is there any objection to that letter being tabled? There is. Are there any other supplementaries? We move to question number 2, Maggie Barry.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Finance. What reports has he received on the New Zealand